Good morning. I'm convening the zoning hearing officer meeting of June 2nd, 2022. I am Joe Leclerc, the zoning hearing officer for San Mateo County Planning and Building Department. Deb, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Deb. We'll now provide an opportunity for oral communication from the public for any matter that is not on the agenda. Deb will read the instructions to explain how people can give public comment. If there is anybody who has indicated a desire to speak. Deb?
I'm going to ask if Janet can read that because I don't have my card with me. I must have left it at work. It's not with me. I left it in my other file. Janet, can you read?
I can help with that.
Thank you, Janet. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. For those attending the meeting on the Zoom video conference, we will use the raise hand feature in order to organize any public comments. During the general public comment period and for each item on the regular agenda, I will ask those members of the public who wish to comment to click the raised hand feature to raise your hand to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. When you hear your name called, it'll prompt you to unmute your account and inform you that you may begin speaking. And we don't see anybody as an attendee present, Joe, and there aren't any hands raised at this time.
Okay, thank you very much, Janet and Deb. So
Thank you, Janet.
We'll move on from that item to the consent agenda. So we have one item on the consent agenda, and it is an announcement that announces that both the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission have considered resolutions finding that as a result of the continuing COVID-19 pandemic state of emergency declared by Governor Newsom, meeting in person for meetings of the San Mateo County Planning Commission, Board of Supervisors, or zoning hearing officer, including this meeting, would present imminent risks to the health or safety of attendees. And for that reason, we're going to continue conducting virtual meetings until health conditions change. So that's just to remind the public that the board and the Planning Commission and county staff continue to consider whether or not it's timely and the conditions are such that we can go back to in-person meetings, but we're not there yet. So with that, we'll move on to our regular agenda. Well, actually, I should say if anyone would like to offer a comment on that item, you're welcome to do so, but I'm not in a position necessarily to take action on it. I can forward any comments that people have to the planning director. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the one item we have on our regular agenda, which is a proposal by the owner Gabor Sabian and represented by Dale Meyer and Associates. And it's a proposal, PLN case number 2021-00168 at 313 Lakeview Way in Emerald Hills to add a garage and a second unit that have some deviations from normal standards. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kanoa Kelly to present the project.
Good morning, everybody. Let me just share my screen with you.
Please. Thank you, Kanoa.
Okay. So as we said, this is the one and only item on the agenda today. And the project is at 313 Lakeview Way in Emerald Hills, file number PLN 2021-00168. And this is the consideration of a use permit and design review exemption to permit the construction of a detached 500 square foot garage with a 1,277 square foot two-story ADU. And 314 square foot upper deck. 800 square feet is the max for an ADU. Therefore, a use permit is required in this case. And the project includes the trimming of a significant oak tree branch. So here's the location, 313 Lakeview Way. It is, you can see there's two parcels here. The parcel on the back is the subject parcel, and there's an access easement through this front parcel to get to this house back here. And here's just an overhead shot of the existing home. You know, the trees, and then this is the parcel where there is access. So here's an overall view of the site plan. Nothing's happening back here. It's all right up front here. There's an existing covered parking area here that will be removed, and the new garage will be installed in the ADU. So here is an overview here, side profile, elevation, and you can see this is the garage portion. And then these are the 2 stories because it's on a slope. There's the ADU spaces here on this side. And just to illustrate what the kind of colors will be, there will be a dark gray metal standing seam roof. And then natural cedar siding that is kind of illustrated here for the main body of the garage and the ADU. And then here are the floor plans. So you can see the first, the top floor has the garage and the living area and the kitchen, the bathroom for the ADU, as well as this small deck, steel cabling here. And this is the bottom portion with the bedroom, master bedroom and master bath, a closet and a laundry area here. So the project includes a reduction in the ADU requirements for a 5-foot second floor step back for ADUs. This is the area in question here. So it already has a 5-foot setback for the ADU, but our regulations require that anything over 16 feet have an additional, the second floor has to have an additional 5-foot setback, which would push it back here. In order to maximize the space on site and avoid having to remove or impact these oak trees on site, we thought this was the best design for the project. So we recommend approval of the project without the step back. There's 5 foot here, and then there's plenty of space between the side setback and the property line, and then other houses on the other property. It's mostly just trees and brush there. And the project also includes the trimming of 1 tree branch, and this is the oak tree to be trimmed here on the site plan, and you can see it illustrated in the photo. There's this 1 tree that kind of cantilevers over into the project area, and that will be trimmed, and the impacts of that will be assessed by an arborist. There are conditions in the approval, attachment A, conditions of approval, that will require that. So as mentioned in the staff report, aside from the step back and the ADU size, which is why we're here, the ADU maximum, as we said before, is 800 square feet. So they're exceeding that. They want to go to 1,277 square feet for the ADU. But aside from that, and then the step back, the project complies with all other RH development standards. The project qualifies for a design review exemption. All materials and colors will meet the objective design review standards, and the project complies with applicable general plan policies, including visual quality and soil resources. And for CEQA, the project qualifies for an exemption, which is a class 3 that exempts new construction of single-family home and second dwelling units in an urbanized area. And finally, staff's recommendation is that the zoning hearing officer approve the design review exemption and use permit, county file number PLN 2021-00168, by adopting the required findings and conditions of approval listed in attachment A. That concludes my the presentation. Here, we can open up to questions.
Thank you very much, Kanoa. I have a couple of questions, and we'll ask those, and then we'll see if there are any members of the public who wish to speak. But first, with regard to the removal of the 18-inch removal of the branch on the 18-inch tree. Is that building that is to the left in the photograph to remain?
No, that's the existing carport that will be removed. Here you can see the outline.
Well, I see a building to the right with a flag on it.
Over here against the tree.
The other left, yeah.
Okay, sorry. That is, I'm not sure what that is. Is it Dale? Do you know?
Yes, that Dale Meyer here. Yes, that's a storage shed at the moment, and that's going to be removed.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
You can see it on the drawing on the right. There's a dotted line just below where the
right here. Okay.
All right. And what method is going to be used to remove that building?
I'm sure that it will be removed mostly by hand because it's so close to the tree. And one of the conditions is an arborist report that talks about the removal of the branch. And I'm sure when we order it that we will discuss with the arborist how to best remove the building next to it, and we will follow his recommendations.
Yes. Well, okay, thank you for that. And then the other question regarding this tree is the pathway on the building side, the new proposed building side of the tree. So I see what looks like a concrete retaining wall at the base of, or a concrete foundation at the base of that building. Is that correct? The storage shed?
Yes, at the base of the garage, there will be a concrete wall there, retaining wall that will act as the walkway. That's what's proposed. Again, with the arborist report and the closeness to the tree, the arborist will have some recommendations about that wall and how we need to proceed with that. So again, we will follow what the arborist recommends. He might have some special requirements. If we have to, we can probably move that wall over towards that side of the building, that wall, and cantilever that walkway if we need to, or some portion of it.
So I misunderstood the drawing then. So that outer line of the walkway was intended to be the outer edge of the wall with a dent in it.
Yes.
Okay. And so I see. So then the walkway would be, so you would basically keep the walkway flat in lieu of trundling down the hillside the way it is now, and then it would go to a set of stairs down later on that would get you down to grade.
Yes, exactly.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That, because it's flat, it's basically flat from where the driveway is till you get back to where the door, the man door, goes into the side of the garage. And then at that point, you go up a couple steps to get to the upper entrance of the ADU. And then on the side of that, there are steps that will go down to the grade.
I see. Can we go back to the elevation for a second that's adjoining that? I see. So Mandor there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we go back to the existing conditions photo, well, I think that actually that exhausts my questions. And I did want to make one point, which was that the maximum size of an ADU is actually 1,500 square feet. That you can go up to 1,500, but it requires a use permit. So although 800 is the maximum you can get with a ministerial permit, avoiding a discretionary permit, the ceiling is 1,500 feet. And then I would like to ask if we have any members of the public present who would like to speak. I'll open the public hearing. And if there is anyone who would like to speak, Janet or Deb, can you please explain to them the process for providing comment?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Joe?
Yes, I'm opening the public hearing. And if there is anyone from the public who would like to speak, you can please explain to them how they do that.
Janet, can you read that off the card? Once again, I don't have the card with me.
No problem. So this is a public comment for item number 1. At this time, if you have anything regarding this item and you want to speak, please raise your hand now. And I actually don't see anybody on the attendee side, Joe. So it's safe to say there are no hands raised.
Very good.
Dale Myers' hand is up.
Yeah, he's on the panelist side. So
Okay, since there are no members of the public who wish to speak, I'm going to close the public hearing. And then, Mr. Meyer, you have a point you'd like to make?
Yes, I would like to just give a little bit of background. The owners have worked for many years hard to get enough money to buy a house. They bought this property, and the main house, which is further down the hill, is approximately 90 years old. And there's issues, some dry rot, some structural items, miscellaneous, electrical and other items that you can imagine in a house that's that age that will need to be dealt with. And so when they came to me, they were asking to have an ADU built so that they could move into it while they then would take the time to do the remodeling of the main house. And that's kind of a very short history of the thinking and the process that went into this. When they came to me and talked to me, they were interested in a couple of things related to this. Is they wanted to make sure that the ADU was located in such a place that it had the most minimum impact on the oak trees and the neighbors. And so if you look at the site plan, you can see up near the top, there's a lot of oak trees, and there's more further down the hill. And from the aerial view that Kanoa had up before, you could see all the trees that they have around. And up at the front where the carport was, turned out to be probably the best location we could put it. And it only ended up impacting that one tree where we would have to cut off that one branch. So that minimized, and you can see kind of the houses around are all, further down the hill or, off the picture here. So, the addition and the location of the ADU minimized any visual impact also to and from the neighbors. And so the project ended up, because of the location, putting it that we took the opportunity also to remove the carport, which was in very old, rickety condition, and so that we could, get that fixed up at the same time we were doing the ADU. The other thing that will happen as part of this is we met with the fire department when they were going through the comments, and the access property, we will the fire department will be requiring us to widen it approximately 18 inches to make sure their truck can get down into this area. And so that is also going to be part of this project, because that was their requirement when we met with them. And the property that comes in, that is owned by my client and an adjacent neighbor for easement to their houses. And in looking at this image that's up here now, the adjoining neighbor at, I guess it's 315, is the one that is the other owner of this property. And then the only other thing that I want to mention here is that recently the owners saw that one of their neighbors had a solar panel a roofing system that's not panels, but it's the shingles. And they were considering doing that instead of the metal roofs, so they can have a little more energy efficient house and so forth. And so I don't know if now would be the time to request that we could make that change, because I just found out about it about a week ago. And so that's, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But in general, the other thing that I would say is I read through the conditions of approval, and we do not have any problems with any of those conditions of approval.
Very good. I have a question, and perhaps Kanoa, you can put up either the survey or a site plan that shows the current conditions, including trees on the access parcel.
Let's see if I have it. So I can pull it up.
Yeah, if it's in the staff report, you can pull that up. That's fine, and share that screen. But yeah, I can understand it may not have been in your presentation. I do recall seeing it in the staff report.
Let's see.
'Cause what I'd like to understand is where this 18 inches is going to be added.
Yeah, if you go Kanoa, it's almost like one of the last pages where Amy had sent you the pictures.
Okay. So this is the survey here. Is it shown on the survey
Yeah,
as well?
well, this is the road. You can see the road, the driveway. This is the driveway on the top, the map that's on the image right now. That's the driveway that's coming down. And so above the driveway is where the two owners park the vehicles and so forth, and some sheds are there. And the driveway would be widened towards the top of the sheet.
So
And you
it's
said-
going to pull out this way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, sir.
And that's going to entail excavation of 6 inches to create room for base rock, and then asphalt paving on top of it.
Yes, yeah.
And
Some of the area above that is already has gravel in it. Not all of it, but some of it.
yeah. So I see that there's one pine tree that could be affected, but those are kind of fire prone, but otherwise it looks like there wouldn't be any large trees affected by that proposal. So it's kind of a last minute modification to your project. It's probably something that could be approved ministerially through a building permit anyway. So I don't see that it raises any significant issues. If we could go back to the photograph of the tree and the adjoining storage shed. Want to share some observations about that. Yes, so the tree has grown accustomed to, now those are concrete stairs. What are those constructed of?
Yeah, I think they are concrete stairs, yes.
Are they like wood frames that the concrete was then poured inside of them, or probably something like that? Okay, well, my point is that so the oak tree's been kind of wedged in between this building and this existing walkway, which you remove both of them. And so the tree's going to experience quite a bit of disturbance. And then you're proposing to put a retaining wall immediately adjacent to it. And I assume that's a T-shaped footing. Is that correct? So you're going to have to excavate some depth below grade to get bearing for that retaining wall?
Yes, there would be some, although my experience with arborist reports near oak trees is that they usually have, instead of the T-footing, they usually require some drilled piers, and then you have spacing in between the piers of 5 to 8 feet, depending on the loads and everything. And so that minimizes the interference with the roots and everything. So
Mhm.
I'm imagining that even probably the foundation for the main house will probably be on piers too. I mean, again, the one of the requirements is a soil report, and so we'll have that, and we'll follow their recommendations also.
Mhm. Is there a reason that you, so that you're going through a lot here to try and save this tree? It's going to experience quite a bit of disturbance when that shed is removed, especially if the foundation is going to be removed. And expensive, challenging to do all that by hand. Then, so you're going to have pretty significant disturbance on that side of the tree. Then you're going to come back in and excavate this, drill some piers, whatever, to, get this retaining wall in right next to the tree. I wonder if it would be more advantageous to just push the retaining wall under the garage where it belongs and build a deck in this portion of the site, and working around the tree in that way, getting your access that you need without excavating a continuous footing and being able to basically put in 2 supports and span it with a decent beam and avoid impacting this tree in a way that will, I mean, I think, although you were talking about just removing an 18-inch branch, I think that given all that's proposed here right now, I think it's highly unlikely the tree will survive.
It looks like the owners are raising their hand.
Yeah, Amelia, did you want to speak? Can we unmute her?
Yes.
You're muted, Amy.
So, hi, this is Amalia Saban again. We wanted to clarify that the shed is basically made out of plywood and it doesn't have a foundation. And it's 94-year-old and it's not in good condition at all, and it's not usable. Although it looks really nice because I had painted it to look a little bit more decent from the outside. But it doesn't have a foundation, so there's no concrete there next to the tree. And the stairs are made out of concrete, but those stairs will probably be removed, but the retaining wall is not right next to the tree. It's going to be a little bit further away from the tree that we are proposing.
It can be, oh.
It's like you're muted, Joe. I think you're still muted there.
Yeah, I don't know.
There he goes. Oh, wait. No, it went back.
Joe, can you hear us?
Muted him again. There, there we go.
So I'm sorry about that mistake. I didn't mute myself, but in any case, the plans that I have in front of me that are part of the application show the retaining wall, and as Dale explained, right next to the tree. So are there other plans that we're not looking at that are part of this application?
I think Amy was agreeing with what I was saying before, is that wall can be moved back 4 feet. So it lines up with the garage wall instead of the edge of the walkway. And we can eliminate the concrete and we can have it wood like the rest of the deck.
A deck, yeah, exactly.
So that's a easy enough change to make on the plans. It wouldn't change anything except that the retaining wall would be moved over the 4 feet. And that would be, in looking at your picture, that would be over kind of to the end of where those steps are. That's approximately the 4 feet over. So, you know, that would serve a couple purposes, and I think your idea is a good one.
Yeah, well, I think that I'm proposing to make that a requirement of
Okay,
the project. And it's good to know, Amy, that there's no concrete footings and foundations involved with the shed, because that makes all your effort to try and save the tree all the more likely to succeed.
Yes, that's correct.
And because it's difficult to do what you're doing in these kind of circumstances, and we applaud your efforts to try and save the tree. Obviously, it's a real asset to the site. And I think in some ways, taking that branch off will give it a little bit more balance,
Exactly.
so that it's likely to live longer. So that was really all the sort of questions and comments that I had. So I'm proposing that we, Kanoa, add a condition that would modify the proposed design to have a deck adjacent to the tree between the garage facade and the landing at the kind of the, I guess it would be the southern edge of the landing for the stairway. And other than that, I think this project is a good one, and I'm poised to approve it. So Dale, you mentioned that on behalf of the applicants, you have read, understand the findings and conditions of approval, and you're in agreement with those. And I assume that's also true of the owners?
Yes, that's correct. We have it
Okay.
printed.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to approve this project, and I want you to know that it's pursuant to the findings and subject to the conditions of approval in the staff report in attachment A, as modified by myself in terms of changing that deck beside the tree. And I want to note that the approval can be appealed to the planning commission as long as it's done in writing within 10 working days, which in this case is June the 16th. And the application for the appeal must include a $616.35 appeal fee. So, and I don't see anybody from the public here, but that if anybody wishes to appeal, including yourselves, that's the process. And so congratulations.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
And that's the last item on our agenda. So with that, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Janet, for your help.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks all. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.